I just want to hear why you don't support Trump also. I would like to hear why you don't support Trump, so I could be a little educated on things that you don't support.
You know what? Sure, why not? I'll go over a handful of reasons why I don't support Trump as president. Well, I don't support Trump as president because of three main categories. Those three main categories are domestic policy, foreign policy, and character. When I'm giving this rundown, I always like to start with character. So he is an adjudicated rapist, okay? A civil court found that he raped a woman in the 90s. He is a 34-count felon. In 2005, in August, he went on Howard Stern's podcast and boast about unconsensually barging into the dressing rooms of naked teen girls and naked women to look at them when they had no clothes on. And in the 90s, too, he turned around and sexualized a 10-year-old girl, saying that he'd be dating her in 10 years. He's also hit on his own daughter, agreeing with Howard Stern, calling her a hot piece of ass, saying that he would be dating her if she wasn't his daughter. And he's also cheated on all three of his wives, one with a porn star. And that's on top of being best friends with Epstein in the 90s and sending him letters with the depiction of the outline of the naked body of a woman or girl in the statement, "May every new day be a new wonderful secret." And these are only some of the facts of his character. We haven't even touched on his incessant lies. He told over 30,000 confirmed lies in the first term. He told the biggest lie that any sitting president has ever told and still is today with his denial of the outcome of the 2020 election. Not to mention he is incredibly racist. In the 70s, he refused to rent his properties to black tenants. Then the New York State Justice Department sued him for it. In the 90s, 1992, he called all black people lazy. In 1997, affirmed that something that he said. 2010 through 2015, he said that Barack Obama is a black man who was born in Africa, even though Barack Obama released his birth certificate proving he was born in Hawaii. He said it was fake. That was Donald Trump trying to systemically limit the job opportunity of a black man because of the color of his skin. Because, of course, in attempting to convince people he was born in Africa, he was attempting to convince people not to vote for him due to the fact that he'd be constitutionally ineligible to serve as our president. Another big issue would be his anger problems, in which he likes to take out on the American people through authoritarianism. He was so angry when he lost the 2020 election that he launched his fake elector scheme, where when Biden won the 7 key swing states to win the vote, he then sent fake slates of electors to those states with fake votes from those states saying he won those states, and then he directed them to send those fake votes back to Congress, and then he attempted to persuade his vice president, Mike Pence, into certifying them as real. Now, not only has Donald Trump testified about this scheme in front of Congress and in front of SCOTUS, saying that yes, this is something he did, but it was an official act of his presidency, but we've also heard testimony from Mike Pence saying that, well, Donald Trump was asking to place him above the Constitution. This also doesn't account for his prosecution of political opponents, calling for Obama to be thrown in jail, calling for Biden to be thrown in jail, calling for Kamala Harris to be thrown in jail, calling for Hillary Clinton to be thrown in jail, calling for Letitia James to be thrown in jail, calling for James Comey to be thrown in jail, and then going on TV saying it's illegal to criticize him in the media, then saying, quote unquote, we're taking your free speech away, then infringing on the First Amendment by trying to ban the burning of the American flag, then infringing on the Second Amendment by telling his Justice Department to find a way to ban gun ownership for all law-abiding trans-American citizens, and then infringing on the 14th Amendment by signing Executive Order number 14160 into law, attempting to ban birthright citizenship for the children of undocumented immigrants born on American soil, even though they've had that right guaranteed to them since the ratification of the 14th in 1868, infringing on the 22nd Amendment by saying that he wants to find a way to run for a third term, even though the 22nd Amendment says you can only serve 2, infringing on the 10th Amendment by militarizing American cities and deploying the military in cities like Chicago, Memphis, and Portland with no reason, having multiple federal judges rule him out and strike him down. Then yesterday morning, while on Air Force One, flying to America from South Korea, he said, and I quote, that he could declare an insurrection, send the military into these cities, not just the National Guard, but including the Army, the Marines, the Navy, so on and so forth, and no one could stop him, not even the courts. And I don't know, that is maybe 45% of the reasons why I don't like him. I didn't even touch on the big beautiful bill, how it was the most expensive policy in American history that took healthcare away from 10 million low-income American citizens, or the fact that because of his government shutdown, the day after tomorrow, 41 million low-income Americans are going to lose any and all SNAP or food stamp benefits. And then when the administration was asked, well, can you guys please allow emergency funding to keep those benefits running? Or can you give a pledge that you will reimburse states for their expenditure on those benefits once the shutdown was over, he said no, 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 no. So he could have avoided the shutdown. He could have avoided food stamp benefits going away by giving them emergency funding, and he could have avoided the food stamp benefits going away by giving a pledge to the states that he will reimburse them. But instead, like I said, he said no, 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 so then he could turn around and say, well, this is all the Democrats' fault and the violation of the Hatch Act on the USDA website. Now, that's maybe 55% of the reason why I don't like him. Haven't gotten into the tariffs, haven't gotten into the abortion ban, haven't gotten into the foreign policy, haven't gotten into his terrible relationships with their allies, haven't gotten into his support of Israel, I haven't gotten into any of that stuff, but I think that is more than enough to convince you and any other reasonable person that you shouldn't support Trump as president.